Welcome. Welcome. Yes, I know. It is. It's Nikki's fault. She, sorry. I can welcome if you want. I'm welcoming. Okay. Whew, Joe's tall. As you are welcome here. Visitor, friend, or longtime member, you are welcome here. With little children or your partner or alone, we joyfully welcome you here. You are welcome here as believer or doubter, as joiner or loner, you are welcome here. Feeling a part of us or not, full of energy or not, seeking a vision or a rest, you are welcome to join us as you are. We acknowledge that we're in the Aboriginal territories of the Salish, Nez Perce, Blackfeet, and Anishinaabe people who shared the Helena Valley as hunting grounds. The indigenous story of the Helena Valley began long before the arrival of Europeans. We honor those who walked here before us. We honor the path they have shown us in caring for this place for generations to come. We strive for justice and fair relations with their descendants. And now we can, if there are announcements that didn't make it into the email or are printed in the order of service. A list.
Good morning, my compadres and compadres. Oh, how's that? Okay, I have a little list. A lot has happened since Friday. One thing I wanted to mention is that, do you remember we started talking about sending out a poll about 6 or 7 months ago? Oh, a few people do remember that. Well, I think it's going to come out this week. So the long-awaited, much worked upon poll. And there'll be a little notice that it's coming, but we very much encourage you to read it and respond, because we use the information to help guide us in the big picture. Okay, the really big deal this week is that Margaret Bennis and Sally Davis are in a medical situation that requires quite a bit of support. Sally had an ankle surgery last Thursday, and she'll be down for quite a while, maybe 6 weeks. Meanwhile, Margaret, as many of you may know, is getting fragile in her years and requires a lot of support. And Jean Sweet, bless her heart, invited them to come stay at her house. So Jean has been taking care of them, and Jean says that she really didn't know what she was signing up for. This is a big deal, and she needs more support. Specifically, Margaret has a Tuesday morning appointment every week where she gets her dressings on her legs changed, and I think one other thing. So she needs a regular ride to that appointment.
It's 9 to 11:30, but it's not just a ride. Someone has to stay with her.
So I think it would be worthwhile to try and coordinate this after the service.
Yeah, but I wanted to put it in people's minds while we're all here. And then the last thing is that Sally and Margaret have to go to Missoula, where Sally had her surgery. And that would be, I think it's the 30th, October 28th, and it's an overnight, and the 29th. So we're looking for someone that can accompany them. So please, if any of these things are possible for you, please speak to me during coffee. Thanks.
Okay, hopefully the mic is gonna behave itself. There's another one. Oh, yes. I said I would. Potluck. Potluck is next week. Nobody has signed up to do potluck. Please sign up to do potluck and talk to Marianne at coffee to get your name down. We need at least 3 people. Okay.
It's gonna be Halloween, so it should be fun.
It should be fun. Spiders and things in your food. Okay. We have to do the chalice first.
Okay.
So,
Good morning. My name is Joe Damon Sessions. If you would join me in the chalice lighting, we light this flame to remind us love is the center. As we grow and connect, mature and deepen, love remains the center. When the light of truth burns all else away, love remains. Now, if you'll join us in our opening hymn, in the Opening Your Heart songbook, page 2. Welcome to the circle.
Welcome to the circle. How far have you come? Do you need some company? A candle and a song? Are you feeling weary? Tired of being strong? Welcome to this circle. It's a place where you belong. Do you have a burden that feels too much to bear? Do you have a bitterness you don't know how to share? Do you feel too angry to breathe or laugh or pray? Well, there's no one in this circle who has never felt this way. No one in this circle who has never felt this way. So welcome to this circle. Whatever brought you here, the valleys and the mountain tops, the muddy and the clear, and know your work is worthy, and know your heart is true, and know that all you give away will come circling back to you. You got to know that all you give away will come circling back to you.
All right, next we have our story for all ages, led by Nikki, with our accompaniment up front. They'll be reading Flow, Spin, Grow, Looking for Patterns in Nature by Patch and Bars and Todd Stewart.
Look, climb, dig, flow. Breathe in deep, around you go. Can you breathe in really deep? Twirl, whirl, swirl, grow. Explore, find more. Join the show. Look, you can find patterns almost anywhere. Tell me the patterns you see. Yeah? I see triangles. Those are lots of what? Birds. I see lots of birds. Birds make neat patterns, don't they, in the sky? Climb. A tree trunk splits. Limbs divide, branches split, and split again. That didn't rhyme, and it confused me. Did it confuse you? Kind of. Yeah, I got all the other ones right. Let's try this one. Dig. Under the ground. Tree roots also. Fork and spread. Tiny rootlets seek water and nutrients just as leafy branches reach for sunlight. We're in the prose part of the story, not the rhyming part. Because words also make patterns, right? Yeah, sometimes they do. Flow. Mountain rain and melting ice form tiny rivulets. Water burbles. Tumbling streams combine to form huge rivers. These winding, watery paths look so much like a spreading tree that we call them branches too. Oh, I never thought about that. Did you think about that? We call these branches of the river because they look like branches. You learn something new every day. Don't you, Eli? Okay, this is my specialty part. Breathe in deep. Do you know why that's my specialty? Because I teach yoga, and we do lots of breathing. Branches also spread through your body. They move air in and out of your lungs and carry blood to and from your heart. Wherever there's flow, there's branching. These look like branches too, don't they? Let's get air all the way down to here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You guys should do it with us. Should they do it with us? 1, 2, 3. Ah, that felt good. Nature loves to spin. A tree feels solid, but it's really made up of spinning particles. Oh boy, here's the science part. So small you can't even see them. They have names like protons, photons, neutrons, and electrons. Everything you can see or touch is made out of those same tiny particles. Everything. Stones, stars, cars, people, every tiny part of them is spinning even when they seem perfectly still. What? Everything is spinning, even that? That's what this book says. I don't know. The earth is spinning too. Well, blow me away. Look at, you just predicted the next page. Twirl. The earth spins too. Eli, how are you so smart? Turning us toward the sun and away again, making day and night. Did you know that's how we have day and night, because the earth spins? You knew that already. The earth's gravity swings the moon in huge circles around our spinning planet. The earth and moon circle the sun. This book is blowing my brain out of my mind. Is it? For you too? No? Wow. You got it. I know, I was wondering about the moon part too, but I think it's right. Are we ready? The earth spins too, turning us toward the sun and away again, making day and night. The earth's gravity swings the moon in huge circles around our spinning planet. The earth and moon circle the sun. Is that right, everyone? Okay. Basically, Gemma says basically. So. Yeah, every planet, you're right. Eli says every planet circles the sun, so of course the earth does. Our whirling sun follows an even bigger curve around the center of our gravity, of our galaxy. Galaxies spin too. When moving objects push and pull one another, they start spinning. Oh my goodness, this book is crazy. Swirl, let's come back to Earth, okay? Trees and galaxies share another pattern. They both have spirals. You can find spirals in pine cones and pig's tails, in storm clouds, swirling eddies and seashells, in galactic halos, and inside your own ears. I thought it said swirling edibles at first, but that's a different story. Grow. I mean, this would be a good book for that. Spirals appear where things grow or shrink. Plants and shells spiral out. Storms and galaxies spiral in. Man. What else has spirals? A snail shell. What else? The hair on your head. At least these guys. Huh. We'll check that later. Explore. Patterns appear again and again, sometimes in the most unexpected places. Try to find out why. There's almost always an amazing explanation. He's stuck in the sand. Branches tell you that something is flowing. Moving objects make each other spin. Spirals mean that something is growing or shrinking. Wow. Bringing it all back together. These patterns are just the start. Keep looking. Leopard spots and ladybug dots, ocean waves and mountain peaks, lightning bolts and cracks in the sidewalk. Find more. Patterns are everywhere you look, even in the mirror. Don't cut me short, Joe. I know, it's a long one. Join the show. The same patterns that connect trees to rivers and particles to planets also connect you to all of those things. Look, dig, explore. You're not just discovering patterns, you're part of the show.
And now it's time for our offering. If you are a guest, please remain. Your presence is your gift to us. And then we will sing Thank You for Your Loving Hands in page 25 of Open Your Heart Songbook.
so we'll have our first reading, Music of the Spheres by Ernesto Cardinal, 532, and Singing the Living Tradition. If you'll read the italics with Gemma as a response. The Music of the Spheres.
A harmonious universe like a harp.
Its rhythms are the equal, repeated seasons, the beating of the heart.
Day, night, the going and returning of migratory birds.
The cycles of the stars and corn.
The mimosa that unfolds by day and folds up again by night.
Rhythms of the moon and tide, one of the single rhythms in planets, atoms, sea.
And apples that ripen and fall, and in the mind of Newton.
Melody, accord, apergos, the harp of the universe, unity behind apparent multiplicity.
That is the music.
What's that? And then we have a song, Letting Go by Judy. So we'll have our next song, which is Letting Go. Oh, and I misspelled it. Page 45 in the Open Your Heart songbook.
In love, practice only this, letting each other go, letting each other go. For holding on comes easily, we don't need to learn it. Holding on comes easily, we don't need to learn. Practice letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. Practice letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. In love, practice only this, letting each other go, letting each other go. For holding on comes easily, we don't need to learn it. Holding on comes easily, we don't need to learn. Practice letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. Practice letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. Let's do it one more time. In love, practice only this, letting each other go, letting each other go. Holding on comes easily, we don't need to learn it. Holding on comes easily, we don't need to learn. Practice
And there's a short reading by Christina Baldwin in the order of service, if we could read it all together. When you are stuck in a spiral, to change all aspects of the spin, you only change one thing. That one breath. 2025 has been the year of the spiral for me personally. It's been a journey in and a journey out. I was thrown for the tailspin of my life. Friends, both speaking to me and speaking of their own experience, kept raising the term spiral. You are spiraling. They were caught in a shame spiral, anxiety spiraling in mind and body. The term bantered frequently about in our couples counseling, but it wasn't until I was listening to a podcast that I began to understand the spiral in a new light. As William Butler Yeats put it, life is a journey up a spiral staircase. As we grow older, we cover the ground we have covered before, only higher up. As we look down at the winding stair below us, we measure our progress by the number of places where we were, but no longer are. The spiral is an upward expansion of self, a new vantage point of the same situations. This is where my quest to unravel the mysteries of the spiral began. Humans have used spirals in our art, architecture, and religious symbols since the dawning of human civilization, dating as far back as 3600 BCE in Ireland and 4400 BCE in Malta. The spiral has also been found across the world's civilizations from ancient China to pre-Incan Mesoamerica. But even before human civilization, Paleolithic man engraved spirals into mammoth ivory in Siberia, painted it in caves in France, and carved it into stone in Nevada 15 to 26,000 years ago. From the spiral, cultures have seen life's greatest truths revealed. Indigenous American medicine wheels reflecting the seasons of growth and rest. In the Celtic triskele, we find life, death, and rebirth. We find the spiral in post-Vedic traditions as one interpretation of samsara and the journey inwards towards suffering and outwards towards liberation. But the spiral was not only the subject of religious inquiry. We see it appear in the navigation by the stars in the rung line. We've attempted to quantify it in the Fibonacci sequence and cast it into metal screws found in every tool bench and bag across the world. Humankind's fascination of the spiral is easy to understand when we look beyond our own human experience. The spiral is reflected across nature and time. The curled fiddle fern, the arrangement of seeds in the head of a sunflower, snail shells, or even the spiraling water being sucked down the eddy line of a stream may have all inspired curiosity in humans. Advancements in technology and understanding has allowed us to zoom in to find the spiral building life in the form of the double helix of DNA. And we zoom out, we see the raw power of the hurricane spiraling. Our ever-exploring minds continue to encounter the spiral as we expand our understanding of the cosmos. Here we find both the spiral's inward grip and its outward growth. In black holes, singularity, more than objects, but light itself, is pulled inward until all is broken down into subatomic particles. We only know of the black hole's existence because of the spiraling superheated clouds of gas and dust surrounding it. Conversely, our understanding of the spiral galaxies and the universe itself is of infinite expansion. Galaxies originated from a single point, thrown outwards into the void, creating ever more space for growth. It's no wonder the spiral has become a universal symbol across space and time of human existence. We are a part of a spiral universe, subject to the same forces that shape galaxies and give power to gravity's draw. The very same cosmic dichotomy is present within us, in our minds and in our spirits. Do we spiral inwards like the black hole, binding ourselves in an inescapable grip, compressed to a point of no return? Or do we spiral outwards into endless possibility, capacity, and grace? This brings me back to where I started the message today. My quest to understand the spiral kept swirling about me, being spoken aloud and entering my conscious and subconscious mind. I want to share how my personal discovery of this cosmic choice changed my understanding of my own healing journey. Over these last 8 months, mental health has played a major role in my life. From being diagnosed with ADHD and understanding its expressions to coming to grips with depression, both of which can easily pull the strongest of swimmers into the ever-contracting, spiraling whirlpool. No escape, tighter and tighter. As I alluded to before, when using the term spiral in a human sense, the intent is almost never positive. Shame, anxiety, self-blame, life in a tailspin. As the life I knew was being stripped down to barely meeting Maslow's lowest rung of needs, the spiraling was real. The blame was real. First outward, how could this be happening to me? Perhaps even more critical was when that blame turned inward. How could I have done this to my wife, to my kids, to myself? Compound this negative self-talk with ADHD's hyper-focus, and I was unsure there was ever a way out. Battling the seasons homeless in Montana in March, not sure where my next meal would come from. My only recourse was the grip of survival mode, grasping at every and any rationale of how things came to be. I was grasping to control the outcome. If only I make the necessary changes, things would go back to the way they were. If only I could explain away what happened in the context of mental illness. If only I could control how others saw me. As the famed National Geographic alpinist Corey Richards said on the podcast, A Bit of Optimism, when we are in survival mode, gritting our teeth, I gotta hold on. And survival is interesting as it is reaction-based. And reaction is not values-based. When people are in survival mode, values are out the window. I found myself in survival mode, in reaction-based living. I was out of touch with my value system. And it showed. It showed in my interactions with my wife, interactions with my children, interactions with my friends in my community. It sabotaged business relationships, coworker relationships, and even job interviews. It was pervasive. I was so deep in my own shame and blame spiral that I could not see the inherent worth and dignity in every person, as I could not see it in myself. I could not see that these contracting spirals were not failure. It is only to be human. I was stuck. I was struggling to understand. I had Stephen Covey's 5th habit of highly effective people backwards, and I didn't know it. I was seeking to be understood. I was not trying to understand others. Rather, Covey instructs us to seek to understand others first, then be understood. It was not until I turned this very framework in on my own self-work that did everything begin to make sense. I was not trying to understand myself. It took an exercise on releasing my attachments to root out the core of my spiraling, my black hole singularity, if you will. Sakichi Toyota, founder of the car company of the same name, was famed for his lean manufacturing process and elimination of waste and defects. When any problem was encountered, he asked why. He asked why at least 5 times. What caused X? If Y caused X, what caused Y? If Z caused Y, what caused Z? And so forth. It was in this same vein that I delved into my attachment of not being a failure. And this exploration led me to a point of existential crisis. From others being disappointed in me to being disappointed in myself, to not loving myself, to not having meaning in life. But those are only 4 rationales that failed to meet the goal of peeling back at least 5 layers. What lurked deeper than an existential crisis? My inability to accept what is. And yet something deeper was still there, and that was not having control. This was my tightest spiral, the space where the bands were no longer distinguishable. It was this point where I realized rock bottom was the sacred ground I was searching for, the thing I needed to push off of to return to the surface. It was from that sacred ground that I discovered what the opposite of control was: acceptance. And I was called to the third UU principle, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth. That acceptance includes our own contracting spirals as part of our natural spiritual growth. Because there comes a time, a sacred moment, when we can choose. Is this ever-tightening grip serving me? Are the sacrifices I'm making to hold on worth it? Do I want to live in survival mode, reacting and not responding, being out of touch with my values, continuing to grit my teeth? Or open my eyes and live with curiosity of what could be? Do I want to spiral down and live in the ever-tightening center? Or do I want to channel the galaxies latent in my DNA and let go of the tight grip of control and spiral up and outwards into ever-expanding possibility? It was at this intersection that the shift from survival to resilience began with the smallest possible action. I learned the sacredness of one breath. One breath first became my daily mantra. Each conscious breath forces us to pause, to stop treating everything as an emergency that must be reacted to. That one breath creates space for us to choose, to act from our values. In that space, I was able to see the foundation of grace. It was turning from an inward mindset to an outward mindset. In the book, Leadership and Self-Deception, an inward mindset sees others as objects or obstacles to our own needs, while an outward mindset sees others as people with their own needs, hopes, and challenges. In my deepest spirals of self-doubt and shame, I saw myself as an obstacle to fulfilling my own needs, unable to recognize the humanity in them. I was not accepting my own challenges, my own hopes. So to live in grace, I had to approach myself with the same curiosity that I gave others. I had to release the grip of self-judgment, control, and perfectionism. I was still in the tight grip of the center of the spiral, but rather than facing myself with an inward mindset, the outward mindset reminded me of my core values and freed me. I came to realize that grace towards yourself must come first before you can genuinely give it to others. It's the inverse of the golden rule. You cannot treat others the way you want to be treated if you cannot first treat yourself that way. If you treat yourself with love and grace, you'll treat others with love and grace. If you treat yourself with guilt and shame, you'll treat others with guilt and shame. I found once I gave myself grace, extending that capacity to others became natural. My capacity was ever expanding, exponentially like the Fibonacci sequence, spiraling outwards. When I was able to accept my own humanity, then I could see the humanity in others. My shift came down to a simple practice: show up, open up, give grace. This practice showed me that there's resilience through release, that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let go. Let go of preconceived notions, let go of others' perceptions, let go of needing to be in control, let go of habits that no longer serve us. When we let go, we're allowing ourselves to step into discomfort while remaining grounded by our values. Curiosity replaces certainty. Response replaces reaction. Grace replaces guardedness. When we let go, we are practicing equanimity, the art of non-reactive presence. When we let go, we can see, as Hermann Hesse eloquently put it, we are not going in circles, we are going upwards. The path is a spiral. We have already climbed many steps. When we let go of judgment of our past, we can see we return to the same places, but now we are higher. We can see what we may not have been able to see then from a new vantage point. Same issues, completely different perspective. As we let go, we see that time is both linear and cyclical, a spiral. Yes, the seasons turn, but each time we return to a season, it is new, it is different. This is revealed to us when each of us does our own inner work. Our past returns, sometimes subtly, sometimes in grand ways. Trauma, conditioned responses, guilt, joy, celebration, triumphs, they all spiral back to us. They are triggered in mysterious ways, but as we grow older, we layer on to our lived experience, and if we face the inward spiral with an outward mindset, with grace, with acceptance, then hopefully the lessons of the past inform a brighter future. We all walk the transformational path of the spiral, whether we realize it or not. It is universal. As Christina Baldwin put it, when you're stuck in a spiral, to change all aspects of the spin, you only need change one thing. And we'll take a moment of silent meditation, if I can do this right. Now we have some time for any reflections. Gemma will come around with the mic.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. That was enlightening. It seemed like there was information about the principles and just being so forthwith. It's just refreshing. So thank you for sharing.
I'm just thinking, as an old lady, here we go again. How many times have I said that in the last, I don't know, many times in life. But the spiral is I like that concept. It does put a new spin on it, pun intended. And yeah, so an application to my own life right now. Paraguay has been on my mind since Donald decided to pull Argentina into the mix. And so when I've talked before about living in Paraguay, it was always negative. But it's starting to have a different perspective. And I put on a Paraguayan blouse this morning. And for treats, I made you all my favorite treat, a media luna, which is half of a croissant filled with dulce de leche. So, you know, we can turn it around.
Oh, yeah. Hi, I'm Georgia. That was a really powerful message, and I'm still digesting it. And yes. And even as the song said, you did a really nice job of picking songs that fit with that. The whole concept that letting go is harder than holding on, it almost seems counterintuitive. And I know at the base of that is we never had control to begin with, and control over other people in our relationships, that we get to do us and they get to do them. And I think letting go is sometimes very, very hard. I'm Karen. I very much relate to the spiral. And what I noticed for me is that, well, here we go again. But it's the noticing. Gee, I'm doing the same behavior I did 3 years ago. And it's probably the first time I actually noticed that it was the same behavior. My, I wonder if I can change that. First time. So the spiral gets bigger. Thank you, Joe. I'm going to listen to this over and over.
I'm Cass. Joe, I feel like you've unleashed an energy vortex in my brain. And I'm thinking now, since we had the demonstration yesterday, of two big spirals moving in different directions. And the one that I'm going to mention first is, of course, at the head of our government, how we keep spiraling down and living without love and all the negativity that surrounds that spiral. And then I'm thinking of the grace and spiritual lift I got from being with all the people yesterday, talking about and feeling about how we can come back to life and how we can resist the negative effects of the current governmental spiral and bring our founding principles back into the light and as the predominant force. And it seems like a big mess to me, but without people standing up and saying, we want this to change, it would be total darkness, and it's not. So it gives me hope.
I'm Sarah. Hi. I like that image of going up the spiral staircase and looking down and see what's been before, but what does the future hold?
I'm Pam. Joe, I just want to thank you for a really courageous message. Thank you very much.
I think it just goes to show that the spiral is pretty ubiquitous and all around us. And Pam, I've been on the verge of tears this entire service, so thank you. Next we have our closing hymn, I believe, Amazing Grace, hymn 205 in the Singing the Living Tradition. Stand as you're willing and able. to extinguish the chalice, if we could read from the order of service all together. We extinguish this flame to remind us love is the center. As we explore and rest, engage and heal, love remains the center. When all we can see is cold ashes, love remains.